Well, 2 more series just got canceled, which is another 6 to 7 games. So we have 2 weeks canceled. Sorry, 2 weeks canceled. And now, actually, honestly, like I've been like full player side this whole time. Fucking Twitter. This one's on the players, actually. Personally, to me, this one's on the players. Um, the MLB came at them. Obviously, there's the whole international draft stuff that kind of has been a huge issue. Sorry, I'm gonna move my Twitter over so I don't keep looking at so if I look at myself, it makes sense. So yeah, we've had this huge thing where like the players and unions kind of saying that the MLB sprung the international draft pick or draft lottery onto them or that type of thing. Or the fuck it is. Honestly, I hate it now because it's cost us baseball. So yeah, whatever it is, they kind of said they've sprung it onto them last week, which I think was kind of weird just for them to say because I swear we've heard stuff about them talking about this. Like, I thought that was like a July thing. Like I thought this was a pretty normal thing going into these negotiations. Like, okay, this is gonna be something. Like, I swear they agreed to this already. Like I swear that both sides were like, yeah, we want this. This seems like a good thing. And then this last couple weeks, they're like, maybe not. So I don't know what's going on there. That's weird. I think just bad communications by the two sides, which would make sense because they spent 43 days apart. Because apparently the owners expect the players to call them up begging them for a job. No, they make a lot of those guys make a good enough money. They don't really need to beg you for a job. It's, yeah, whatever. I'm on the player side, but I'm pissed off at them right now. So yeah, the MLB came in today after long negotiations yesterday, which I stayed up for. Now I'm even more pissed because it's twice in a fucking 2 weeks that. No, not even. It's been like a fucking week that they've made me stay up, and then the next day is the fucking least productive day of their time. So they came in, they're like, okay, here are the last three options. Number one, international draft pick, or international draft in exchange for eliminating draft pick compensations, i.e. the qualifying offer, which the players have wanted out for a long time. And the league seems to be okay with it. They understand why they don't want it, and they haven't really made a big stink about it, which has been great, because I definitely expect them to make a stink out of it. Number two is everything stays the same, no draft. We keep the qualifying offer system. Cool. And then number three would be eliminate the direct draft pick compensation. So eliminate the qualifying offer and give players until November 15th to agree upon a international draft beginning in 2024. Those three are all super reasonable, especially when we heard about what the CBT was, like the differences between the really big stuff. Because like you got to the CBT, it's like 230 compared to 232. Like those numbers, we're gonna get through those numbers soon. We'll talk more about this, but I want to talk about the international draft and what happened in the last like hour. So those three are great. Like honestly, I have no issues with all of them. I still personally think an international draft is a great thing. I think it takes pressure off of these kids because they're getting talked to at like 13, 14 years old. Like you're talking to a kid who, for a good guess is like they grew up in poverty. Now the New York Yankees come down to town. They're like, hey, in 3 years, if you can still hit a baseball, we're gonna give you $5.5 million. That's so much pressure on a kid. Like, I don't know. I think the way they're doing it now, there's no issue with it. Like it still works. I think it's just not the right way to do it. I think a draft is the better way to do it. The selecting where you play as a young kid, I don't know. I don't really get that. Like just play where you play, really. Like that's my thing. So I understand wanting the draft, but I understand not wanting the draft at the same time. I know lots of players like to tease. A lot of like the Dominican and the Puerto Rican guys have said that if the draft were to happen, it would kill baseball there, which I don't think is true. They're so baseball's like so rich in like that culture there that it wouldn't. They'd be fine. Sorry, I got hair. I was like half asleep when this happened because I was like, hey, they're meeting. I'm gonna take a nap, and then I got this, and I was pissed. So, yeah. So all three of those are acceptable. You do the international draft in no qualifying offer. That's a tit for a tat right there. I'll get rid of this. You get rid of that. That's how negotiation works. Or it's I won't get rid of this. You won't get rid of this. We're going to keep these two things that we both hate, by the way, and keep them. Or we're going to do this where you can have your time for the season. We're giving you the season up until November 15th, 2022. You can have, there won't be any qualifying offers. You get something, and then you have to agree to our draft. Take one of those three. It brings baseball back. What you just did killed the sport. Like, there's still casuals who don't really know what the fuck's going on. There was still a chance to save the sport. They threw on the table, hey, you accept, we'll extend the season, we'll play 162, you get paid in full. You're not getting paid in full anymore. Everyone's pissed. This was the worst possible outcome that you could have had. Like, it's just, I don't get it. Like, I just don't get it. How don't you accept one of these three when you know it brings baseball back, which is what you want? Like, I've scrolled through Twitter all day, and it's the players. We want to play. We want to play. We want to play. We want to play. Then fucking accept one of these three offers. Like, you can't accept that. You can't, like, decline it and then accept to play. And the counter proposal they threw in, was just the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. The MLBPA, this is from Jeff Passan, the man who threw out Mountain Dew yesterday on his Twitter. By the way, elite tweet. Like, love the guy. He's amazing. MLBPA rejected the league's three offers on an international draft resolution and presented its own. A source tells ESPN, cool. What would you do? The proposal removed qualifying offer this year. Okay, if parties can agree to international draft by November 15th, qualifying offers returns and revert to previous international system. Like, no, because then guess what? The owners the owners get the short stick. You basically just said, hey, we want this, and you have to accept both. I guess that's kind of the same. The proposed, like, the removing of the qualifying offer this year, fine, right? That's kind of already what was in play. But it's the fact that it was, hey, well, everything reverts back. Well, no, because now you get two things that benefit you. In a sense, okay? In a sense, the qualifying offer can still help players. Because, like, you get guys like Kevin Gausman, who last year definitely, like, going into the 21 season, definitely didn't deserve to have that qualifying offer extended to him. He did, and now look at him. Like, it still helps you. There's still that boost. You still get that potential to more money. And then you revert to international systems, which is something the players still want. The qualifying offer, guess what? Also gives a team a draft pick. Guess what that draft pick does? It brings in another player. Another player that can get paid in 8 more years. It's something that benefits the union over the league, and it's not a negotiation tactic. It's just we want this, suck it up. And it's not how a negotiation works. Like, you can't tell me that not one of those three things was acceptable, because I would have accepted any of those three right on the spot. The international draft became the latest stumbling block in a collective bargaining negotiations. The MLPA made the latest full proposal today, but MLB said it would discuss other issues only if the players agreed to one of the three options. They did it, and the MLB canceled games. You knew if you weren't to accept, they would cancel games. Now, we got to deal with the bullshit because you're not going to get paid in full this year. Like, you're not. There's no way on 162 is going to get played. So now we have to deal with you guys complaining that you're not going to get paid in full when, quite literally, you shot yourself in the foot today. You had it in the wind. You had it done. You had three options that benefited you. You had three options that benefited you, and you took none of them. Like, and now we're gonna have the issue of, oh, we want to get paid in full. Well, you're not gonna get paid in full anymore, because now we're out 12, 13, 14 games. Like, you're dropping close. Now we're dropping close to 140 games. And what's the cutoff? Well, let's take a look at what Vladimir Guerrero Jr., how many games he played in 2019. That's the cutoff. What did he play? He played 123 games. I'm pretty sure he had a couple games. Who else was like another like big issue that this came up with? Wasn't Fernando Tatis? Wasn't Pete Alonso? What the fuck was it? It came up the second they could. There's someone else. What freaking player was it that had the like it was like the most obvious thing ever that they're keeping them down until they don't have to pay service time. Honestly, like every player, you can probably check out Carlos Correa. How many he played? He played 99 in 2015. Alex Bregman would be another good one. Like, I'm pretty sure the cutoff is if you play less than 140 games, you don't get that year of service time. So, just saying. There's one that was like, it was super recent. It was like the year before. Oh, was it Juan Soto? No, couldn't have been. Soto came up in like July, did he not? Soto played 816 games. There was one, it was just so obvious that they kept him down until they couldn't. I don't remember who it was. I'm just going to look up service time. Cut off. Okay. I remember who it was. It's Chris Bryant. So it wasn't like that new. It was something made up. Okay. So it's Chris Bryant. He came up in 2015. He played 151 games. He misses the cutoff by that one game. If he played 152 games, he's a free agent last year. Now, does he benefit from this in the long run? Yeah, because he is now out after the year after COVID. Great. A year where fans are in there. So in the long run, he actually makes sense. It worked out well for him. But yeah, he played 151 games. He had to spend 7 seasons before free agency. Now, if the Union doesn't play, if we don't play a game, if we don't play 151 games, or 152 games this year, players don't get that service time. So now you're looking at rookies who don't have those big extensions, like Wander Franco and Fernando Tatis Jr. do. And I even think Robert's got a pretty big extension. Was Robert or Jimenez? I'm not quite sure. Now you're looking at those guys. So you're looking at guys like Kalenic, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette. Those are the 3 main that, if you really think about it, are like kind of fucked by this. They got to spend 8 years with an organization before they get free agency because the Union shot themselves in the foot. Just think that one through. So as much as the Union's fighting for a better future, great, you're fucking some of the young players over right now. So now Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette and Jared Kalenic. Kyle Lewis, I think, even has to go through this. Pete Alonso, because he doesn't have that big contract. They got to wait an extra year now. Although Alonso's already going to be out after 6 because the Mets did it right. Props to the Mets, by the way. The Blue Jays did not. We did not do it right. We claimed an injury to Vlad and then called him up the second we were able to in April. So, yeah. But, yeah. Now you're looking at guys like... So, Vladdy would have been a free agent at the end of the 2026 season. Because 2020 was his first full year. We gave that to them. That was given to them as a full year of service time. Fine, cool, whatever. It got us baseball in 2020. Great. Now we're looking at Vladdy, who has to now wait till 2027. You know there's going to be a grievance in there. Guess what? If a CBA gets agreed upon somehow tomorrow, right? Or no, let's say next week. Because I say the 15th is still like a pretty good day for us to guess for when that'll like happen. Okay, we miss the games. They don't play that full year. They don't get that full year service time. 5 years down the road, 2027. Vladdy and Bo and whoever else is free agent years. Now there's a CBA lockout. Just saying. You're fucking the players over right now. Trying for a better future. Great. That's awesome. Let the kids play. These kids deserve the money they're getting. But you can't screw over the current generation of players. We're going to miss another year of prime fucking Mike Trout, prime Jacob deGrom, a insane Max Scherzer, a Clayton Kershaw. You can't do that. We can't afford a season where you don't get to see a full 162 from Mike Trout. It's insane. And it doesn't, because Mike Trout's been hurt too. So we're already getting to see the beginning of the end for Mike Trout, and now we're cutting out some of his playing time before he completely digresses. Yeah, I don't know. I've been on the side of the players this whole time. I think the players have been doing a great job up until today. When they shot themselves in the foot and we lost 6 more games. I'm trying to think. I know personally, Jays lose 7 games. We lose our home opener against Texas. And then, or would have been our home opener. I guess we would have had the home opener before, blah, 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 blah. And a 4-game series at Yankee Stadium, which honestly I can't complain about. Fine, whatever. So there's, we're out 7 games there. We're out 6 games before. We're out 13 games now. That is now 149 games. 149 games that we're now down to. That's less than the 152 or the 151 that Chris Bryant played, and Chris Bryant didn't get a full year of service time. So if you're not going to play that, which at this point, honestly, the owners don't have to give it to them. The owners don't. The owners are in no need or in no position to have to give the union anything right now because the owners are in the power seat here. They control everything, which is why a deal done today by the Players Association would have been fantastic. It gives them the power seat because then you go into these discussions 5 years down the road and you go, hey, we took the high road here to accept your deal so we could play baseball. We really want to look at doing this. And you can bring that in. It's a great PR move because the people were against the owners going into today. Now I'm looking around and I've seen hate, backlash, which deservedly so, because I'm giving backlash, onto the players union. So, yeah, they definitely, they screwed the fucking pooch today. And we're going to talk more about what was talked about today, how close we were, blah, 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 blah. I was going to stream, but honestly, I wasn't really confident in the deal getting done today, and deservingly so. No games are up until April 14th, and April 15th is Jackie Robinson Day, the 75th anniversary since his debut in the league. You can't miss that day. You just can't. That is such a huge day in baseball history that you can't miss Jackie Robinson Day again. We missed it in 2020, not because of anyone's fault. It's not like the union and the players hated each other. We had COVID to deal with. Fine, understandable. But you can't miss Jackie Robinson Day twice in 3 years, one of them being your fault. You can't do that. So yeah, that's the end of my rant. I didn't really write down notes. It just kind of more went off. Ben Nicholas Smith saying, a longtime agent says he's really pissed. Fair enough. Lots of people are. Dan Rourke of Jump by Media saying, very upsetting. Fuzzy's upset. Ben Verlander saying they should have been negotiating December. This is what they get. A lot of people are very upset by this, and deservedly so. Ballcap Sports not really happy. Taijuan Walker throwing the upside down happy face. Ant Ortiz saying thanks for ruining my birthday, MLB. Kevin, I'm angry and disappointed, and John Heyman is awful. Fair enough. Honestly, I don't. Heyman's on the sauce. He just does not know what he's talking about anymore. Um, MLB Marathon, NASCAR's going strong. The NFL is winning right now, and they're not even playing. So, like, this is baseball season. So, whatever. I'm going to talk more about this in another episode. I'm going to try and guess when I think the lockout's going to end. Hopefully, I can do that. And yeah, we'll be out. Peace.